Okay, welcome to graphics. This is the first video that you're going to have over the next few weeks. Now, the first thing we're aiming to do within graphics is I'm going to introduce you to the idea of sketching. The reason sketching is really important is because graphics is all about how we communicate our ideas with people. You've all heard the saying before, I hope you have, a picture says 1,000 words. Well, in my opinion, a sketch can give even more information than that. What I'm going to show you today is I'm going to show you how to sketch this little guy up here in the corner. Now, this looks really complicated, and we're hopefully going to be able to get to something like being able to sketch something like this. Not maybe in the next few weeks, but over your 6 years in graphics, if you choose to do graphics. This pen was one that I would have drawn with my TY students last year. So just to give you an idea of when we started this cube, it's not just a simple little cube, it's actually building you towards being able to draw stuff like this. It doesn't matter if you're artistic or not, it's all about just understanding different graphics and the different shapes behind something and being able to link those shapes together. Okay, the second thing we're going to have a quick look at is we're going to have a look at shading. So if I just had a normal box like this, you wouldn't know where the light is coming from on it, wouldn't really have much depth or shape. And we're going to look at shading as well. So you can see one side is darker than the other. So we'd think that there's less light on this side of the object. So going from there, this is what we're going to be doing today. Nice starting point for us. We're going to be drawing just this cube here. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, some of you are going to struggle with that, and that is no problem at all. But I want your best effort. So, the other thing I want to make sure is that you know your work for today is you're going to draw one A4 page. And on that A4 page, you're going to do about 6 cubes. Okay. And we're going to hope that every time we do a cube, they're going to get a little bit better and a little bit better. I also want you to pay attention that the first cube I've done is starting on the top left of the page. I'm going to put a little arrow here. And this is the layout I want for years 2. So it's going to be 1 cube here, 1 cube in the middle, 1 cube on the right hand side. And you're going to have 3 along the bottom of the page as well. Right. So where do we start off? First thing you're going to start off with is making sure that you have either a H pencil or preferably, you see here, a 2B pencil. So it's on that little gold stamp there. And you're also going to want at least 1 colouring pencil if you can find one. All right. I'd suggest there's a drawer somewhere in the house, there always is, that has all the pencils you've had since primary school. Go just take one from that. It doesn't need to be good. It just needs to be usable. The second thing you need to make sure of, ladies and gents, is that you have a nice sharpener like this. And you always make sure that in graphics, your pencils are nice and sharp and ready to do the work. Okay, the fundamentals of this is neatness as well. Right, over here. So if I was to draw this, what's the first thing that I need to look for? What I'm going to say to you is that this cube is turned so that it has perspective. What perspective means is just the way we'd actually naturally see it in real life. So if I had a cube sitting like that, how would I actually see it? How would the light hit it? And so first thing we're going to look at is we're going to look at this crow's foot here. What I mean by the crow's foot is if I come over here, and I hope you know as well, so that there's 2 types of lines. There's a horizontal line. Right, a horizontal line that goes straight across, and a vertical line that goes straight up. Okay. There's also another type of line you're going to need to know about for this, and it's parallel lines. So 2 lines, right, they're going the same directions. If you remember your example from primary school, there are 2 lines that never meet. Okay. So how do we draw this crow's foot that I'm on about? It's actually quite simple. First thing you're going to draw is you're going to draw a vertical line. Now you can see I'm actually going to turn the page for myself, and I'm going to turn myself around to make it easier for me to draw this vertical line. So nice and gently on my pencil. You see I'm not leaning on the pencil too hard. Nice and gently on the pencil, I'm going to do a line kind of vertical. Okay. Second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw this line coming off to the right hand side. This one here. That needs to go off at about 30 degrees. Now, if you don't know what 30 degrees is, that's also absolutely fine, because there's a few ways of coming up with it. I'm going to show you the easiest one. If you come over here to the corner of your page, or to a blank spot in your page, and you draw a right angle, just like that, you will all know that a right angle is 90 degrees. So that's the angle in here. If I was to split that angle in half, so if I roughly sketch a line that's going half, you know that line is 45 degrees, because half of 90 is 45. The last one then you're going to do is you're going to split this in half again, but it's going to be a little bit more than half, so maybe a little bit more than half. And if you do that, so you can do that by eye, that will be roughly 30 degrees. So you can do the same thing over here, or if you think you're good enough, you can try guess it off of this. Now, again, the very important thing is you're going to have your pencil marks being fluid. What I mean by fluid means you don't dig your pencil into the page like this and draw one really hard line. It's really hard to correct that later. A nice light motion with the pencil. What we're going to do then is we're going to do the crow's foot coming out the other side. And we're going to come back like this and get it to go through that center point. And you'll see our crow's foot forming here. Believe it or not, we're nearly there. The next part of this all comes back to this item, parallel lines. If a line is going this way on this axis, all lines going that way must be parallel to each other. So if I was to say I want my cube to be roughly this high, I'm going to trace this line with my hand and do a line parallel to that up here. I'm going to do another line parallel to this one. So I'm going to move myself around, make it easy. Parallel to this one, starting at this point. And nice and fluid. You see, I don't even stop where I'm supposed to stop. I keep going through, because I'll actually get a straighter line if I'm a little bit more fluid in my motion. So what we have now is we have this line here is this, and this line here is that top line. But we need to try to get the back section. This is where everyone typically gets a little bit stuck. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to decide how wide our cube is going to be. And I'm just going to put a vertical line back here somewhere. And I'm going to go back roughly the same distance on this side and put a vertical line in there. So that's the two ends of my cube. Now, as I said, if a line is going this way, all lines going that way must be parallel. So if that line is parallel to this line, then the line starting at this point here should also go back parallel, just like that. And the last one we have, as I said, if this line is going this way, this line is going this way, then that top line should be also parallel to them. And if we do all of this right, all of these X's where the lines cross over will add up. Okay. Still doesn't quite look like this one over here though. So what I'm going to do to fix that, I can now go along and I can make these lines a little bit darker. So the lines I want to keep now. So these ones would stop where you want them to stop. And I'm just going to go around my square, my cube. And put it like that. You can see my pencil is getting a little bit dull. You can see on that line. Just make sure you keep that pencil sharp. Okay. The last thing you're going to do then is we're going to add a little bit of colour. So to add a little bit of colour, I'm just going to get rid of this example line I did for you. We don't really use rubbers when we're sketching, but just that example line I want to get rid of. Now, on this cube, the light is coming in from the back, which is why this front section looks really, really dark, because there's more of a shadow on that, and there's not going to be an awful lot of light hitting it, so that's going to be darker. If I do the same over here, so again, if I have the light is coming in this way, Then imagine this face here will get very little light. So I can put a lot of colour and dark colour on this. The other tip I can give you for sketching, ladies and gents, is keep all of your sketching lines going the same way. So when you're colouring in here, keep all of these going the same way. Don't go up and down and sideways. So we'll put that in nice and dark. Okay. Is the top going to get a lot or a little light? It's going to get a lot of light. So that doesn't need to be anywhere near as dark as this edge here. A little bit more colour just for the camera. This side though is going to be in between the two because it doesn't get as much light as the top would, but it still gets more light on this side. So when I'm putting colour on this, I'm going to make it that little bit darker than the top, but make sure it's a little bit lighter in the back corner here. And that's that cube done. If I wanted to be really, really snazzy, I could add the shading on the floor. So if we go over to this one again, imagine the light is coming in this way. So what kind of shape would this have for a shadow? And I'd say, well, it has a straight edge. So the shadow has to come out straight. The shadow is going to be bigger on the darker side because again, there's less light there. It's also going to follow a straight edge on this side. And those two shadows will be parallel because the cube's sides are parallel. And then it'll stop. And again, this will be parallel as well. And once I have that rough outline drawn of the cube's shadow, take a step back, look at it. I think that could have been a little bit further out. And then we can add to the edge of our pencil. We can add this in like this. Now, that's not too bad for a sketch there of a cube. So as I said, lads, your work now for this, I want you to do 6 of these cubes on an A4 page. If you run out of room, that's fine, grab another page. Take a photo then, and I'm going to have an assignments folder for you up on Teams and upload the photo. You'll need, reminder for this, you will need 2B pencil. You'll need at least 1 colouring pencil. For graphics as well for next week, or for the week after when we actually start doing a little bit more technical stuff, I need you to make sure you have a few things. You need to make sure you have a 45-degree set square, so 90 degrees, and both of these angles are the same, they're 45 degrees. You need to have the 40-60 degree set square, 30-60 degree. So this angle here is 90 degrees, this angle is 60 degrees, and this angle is 30 degrees. And you're going to need a technical graphics compass. Miss Murphy would have given you all of these kits at the start of the year. If you are missing any bits or if any of your stuff is broken, Mary's is still open in town. A set of set squares costs about €1.50, maybe €3, and the compass is about €3 as well. So if you have any issues with that, lads, give me a message. Will you also do me a favour and just say hi at the end of the comment box on Teams for this video so I know that you watched the entire thing. Alright? Other than that, lads, enjoy.